Hello friends, welcome back to my channel again. Today's video is going to be very exciting one because I'm going to take you book shopping in Chennai. Yesterday I went on a binge book shopping through my city and I think I covered almost all the major bookstores of Chennai and I bought some very beautiful books which I will haul at the end of this video. So stick around. But before that, let's go just have a look around all the bookstores of Chennai. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching me browsing through all the books. I had super fun. Yesterday was such a dream having to buy books that are new releases, and I had this in my mind for so long, and it was so fun to have my hands on it. I bought around 11 books, so I'll show you one by one now. In no particular order, the first book that I bought is Crescent City series. This is the third installment in the series. This one is called The House of Flame and Shadow. The first two books are called House of Earth and Blood and House of Sky and Breath. First of all, let's take a moment to appreciate this cover. I don't know who's designing this, but the entire series, the artwork is so beautiful. They are so irresistible to buy. So this was an immediate eye catcher. I went for it. I have read and enjoyed the first two books in this series. The first book was very good. The second book was a little bit okay. I hope the third book will raise the bar for me. I am a little bit scared to get into this book because the second book was a little bit of disappointment. Nonetheless, I want to know what happened to Danica. Speaking of which, if you don't know what the story is about, it is about Bryce Quinlan who lost her friend Danica and she has to investigate the murder. This is the simplest way to explain the story. It is an urban high fantasy story. It has fae, it has werewolves, it has angels, it has river monsters, it has all the magical creatures you can imagine of. This is such a nice time to read. I can't wait to get into this book. Next up, I got a popular duology. I am seeing this book on internet a lot lately and I wanted to check out this author's book because One of her book was very famous a few years back. I think it is called The River Enchanted. I couldn't get my hands on it, but when I saw this duology in the stores, I had to get it because it sounds so good. The book that I'm talking about is Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. So this book is so beautiful. The artwork, everything is so good, and the story also sounds really very interesting to me. I don't know much about the story. The story has a magical typewriter. It is full of letters. There are wars between gods. What else can you expect from a book to have a good time? This sounded right up my alley, so I picked it up. I will let you know all my thoughts after finishing this book. I don't think the next book needs any introduction because this is also one of the internet staple by now, and it is marketed as a cozy fantasy, and it is high fantasy, low stake book. I think you might have already guessed what book I'm talking about. It is none other than The Legends in Latte by Travis Baldree. This book, I don't know if you have been living under the rock, you might not have heard about it, but this is a story that has blown up all the internet, and almost everyone who has read it has liked it. I haven't heard one negative comment about this book. This story is about a girl called Viv, and she has lived her entire life having adventures and full of war and a lot of things that are happening in her life. Now she wants to settle down, open a tea shop, and it's all cozy and everything. I can't wait to dive into this because this sounds very much of a book that I would like and enjoy. This particular book is not a recent release, but it has been in my radar for a very long time. And it is one of the books that I've been wanting to read from this author, and that is Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. This is a middle grade story, and it follows a guy called Nobody Owens, and he has no one else. Like, he's an orphan kid, and he is getting brought up by the ghost of this graveyard. I know this sounds very, very magical, eerie, and it sounds very much perfect for fall season and spooky season. I can't wait to read this during that time. And I have heard that this is also a cozy fantasy, which is a vibe that I'm looking for in the books recently that I'm reading. The next book that I picked up is a book that I have no idea what it is about, but when I read it, the back of the book, it was sounding very interesting, and it's a very short book. That book is The Days at the Morisaki Bookshop by Satoshi Yakisawa. I'm finding it really very hard to pronounce the names because it's a Japanese book, and the story follows a guy who has been spending some time in the bookshop, and it is about people who are coming to the bookshop, and it's about what he is seeing with the customers and all. It's a very short book, and I hope that it will be a heartwarming book because no Japanese literature has ever put me down. I've loved all the Japanese books that I've read, so I hope this will also be my all-time favorite now. Speaking of famous books, this also is a book that has been internet staple now, and it is also a cozy fantasy book. You can see the vibe of this video. I think I have gone for all the cozy fantasy books that are out there. So this is also one of them, and it is a very famous one, and that is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. This story follows a girl called Mika, and she is a witch, and she wants to keep a low profile about it. And she goes to a countryside to teach few children about witchcraft and things. And there she meets a man called Jamie. I think he's a librarian, and they fall in love, and it's such a nice time. And like Legends and Lattes, I have not heard any negative comments about this book too. Whoever has read it has given a positive comment about it, and they have all loved it. Most of my favorite booktubers whom I look up to have also read this and loved it. So I think that this is a very safe bet for me to buy. You know that feeling when you like some author and you just read whatever she puts up there, but you have no idea what the book is about. The next book that I'm going to talk about is like that. I have known this author, I've read her work, I've loved her writing, everything, but I have no idea what this book is about. The book that I'm talking about is The Warm Hands of Ghost by Catherine Arden. If you don't know, Catherine Arden has written the Winter Night trilogy, The Bear and the Nightingale, and all those things that has a very wintry Russian vibe to it. The writing was so lush and beautiful that she will just make you immerse into the story and forget what is surrounding you. And I've heard a lot about her middle grade books also, which are in my TBR. I want to read them as soon as possible. But when I saw this and that she's coming up with a new title, I had to get this. And all that I know about this book is that it is taking place in 1917, and it has war and it has some ghost, if I'm not wrong. So I hope this is going to be a very good read for me. And especially just the cover of it screams fall, which is coming up, and I want to read it before the fall season. The next set of three books are all classics, and the first book that I want to show you is One of my very favorite author of all time. If you have been watching my videos, you will guess it right. My favorite classic author is Ellen Montgomery, and the book that I bought this time is The Blue Castle. Ellen Montgomery's writing are very green and very atmospheric. No one describes nature like her. No one describes childhood like her. No one describes love like her. I just adore Ellen Montgomery books. And this is her only, if I'm not wrong, this is her only adult romance book, and it's fairly short. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a very good read for me. I can't wait to dive into more of Ellen Montgomery's work. So the last two books are children classics, and it is from HarperCollins Children Classic Edition. The titles that I got are Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie and Heidi by Joanna Spyri. I loved the edition. I loved the minimal art cover. It has a golden spine, and the font size is also very, very good to read. I just loved the collection. There are so many titles available in this edition, but these two are the one that I have not read yet, so why not? So I went for it, I picked it up, and I'm hoping to read it soon. So that's about it, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this haul. I had super fun making this video. I enjoyed browsing through all the bookstores of my city. I had my hands on some beautiful editions. So I am in the cloud nine now. With that same positivity, this is Sushmita signing off. Until I see you in a very next video with a bookish content, keep reading. Bye-bye.